Headaches and Heartaches on Midlands Today. Brought to you by the beautiful Abbey Blooms Botanical Gardens and Cafe Community Initiative in Multifarnon, County Westmeath. A wonderful space for relaxation designed to promote positive mental health and well-being for all. Find Abbey Blooms Botanical Gardens on Facebook.
Rory Hafford is here from the Lusnagrena Family Resource Centre in Longford. He's a psychotherapist and author living in Four. He has many books to plug and tell you all about.
Many books.
But he hasn't slipped me the €50 yet, so I'm not going to share with you just now. How's the form, sir?
Form couldn't be better. How is your form, more importantly?
I'm in better mood than poor Tom in County Laois. Not his real name, we should stress, for the sake of his marriage.
Did you see poor Tom?
Poor Tom says he has been married for nearly 20 years. But his wife is so busy running around after the children, she doesn't make time for him. Mm-hmm. He tried to organise a date night for Valentine's, and she told him, "Don't be silly, I don't have the time." So initially I was thinking world's smallest violin here. Mm-hmm. The woman's busy, give her a break. In fact, give her a hand. But
there has to, and I can see how you would come to that conclusion. There has to be something else. There has to be. Because essentially and effectively, the relationship has gone stale in the brain. It's a good little thing, that, isn't it? Stale in the brain. And there's an analogy. That's not easy to say at this hour. There is an analogy that I like to use for this kind of slippage in a relationship. It's when the red high heels turn into a pair of comfortable slippers. And people...
I'm still picturing you in high heels.
And people...
Is that only at weekends?
It's still love, but it is a more mature kind of love. It just doesn't have the excitement and the thrill and the unexpectedness of when you first met. Okay? So, she's focused on the kids. Her focus is on the children, and there are many people who will say that's absolutely as it should be, and it is not on him at the moment. So, I knew this question was coming up, and I talked to 3 women about it. And I just gave them the problem, the conundrum, and every one of them said something that surprised me. Every one of them. Now, these are normal, decent academics. And I wrote it down. Where is it? Get away from her.
What?
Yeah. Get away from her. Now, I'd say it was...
stall the ball.
Oh, I absolutely stall the ball. But I thought, is this tongue-in-cheek? Is this like a throwaway comment? And it could well have been. But the odd thing is they all said the same thing. Get away from her. And then they offered other solutions. But the initial thing was move away. Now, I got thinking about this. And... Tom does need, oh my God, you're looking at the texter already. Wait till you hear the next thing. It's going to light up like a pinball machine. Tom does need to do something different. So I've come up with one thing. You ready for this?
Lend a hand with the children.
No, she's got that. She has the children. Have an affair. For those of you just tuning in at home, Will Faulkner's face has hit the desk. Now, stay with me for a second. Just stay with me. You look at the mechanics of an affair. It's exciting. It's edgy. It's dangerous. It's life-affirming. It's life-enhancing. You can probably see people falling over tables and chairs to try to get to the phone at the moment.
I'm really hoping.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Pina coladas.
Wait a minute. Okay? You can steal away. You can feel like a bold teen again. You can get away from habitual behaviour. You can feel good about yourself again. You can feel affirmed again. Do you know what? That sounds like a bit of a plan to me. Have the affair, Tom. Have the affair.
With your wife?
Yes. You've ruined the delivery. Oh, my God. That's the only caveat.
I was praying that's where you were going with this.
Have the affair, but it must be with your wife. Because it's all of those things that... And again, in the clinic, over the clinics, over the 30 years that I've done this stuff, I've heard this time and time and time again. And some people do feel that they need somebody else. But they don't. They need something else, another approach, a different way of seeing these things. Because for me, true love never dies. It never dies. Just sometimes it hides away and you have to coax it out again. Now think about it. She may be a new mother. She may be up to her neck in diapers or whatever they call them and baby formula and all the rest. But she is still a woman. She is still the woman that Tom chose to be with, and that will never ever go away. And people normally say, "Oh, women love this and women love that." It's not a male female thing. People love it. People love to be spoiled. People love to be surprised. People love to be fussed over. So, have the affair, Tom.
Bring her to O'Gorman's in Kilminchy tonight. They still have the Valentine's offer, Tom. That's what you need to do.
O'Gorman's.
O'Gorman's. Anyway.
What do you think?
This one...
You can pick your face up off the desk now if you want.
Sometimes easier said than done when it comes to making the time for the affair with your wife in that.
Oh, stop it.
No,
Stop it now.
When the kids come into the world...
You're looking for solutions. So
if you're playing second fiddle on both sides, she's playing second fiddle in some respects. He's playing second fiddle for some respects.
There's a fiddle. There's
is
a fiddle in the mix. Okay. Oh, look, you're looking for solutions.
Better than the flute at Bandcamp.
You're looking for solutions. I've given you a viable solution. But we have a tendency, as Irish people in particular, to not only not move off the problem, but to protect the problem. Okay? Solutions, people. Solutions. And there's a doozy I've just given that man now.
You have indeed.
But he must think about it.
Yes. And just remember the end of the sentence. With your wife. Affair with your wife. This one is a bit more serious. They're all serious. This one, however, I don't want to make light of. It says, my teenage son is addicted to his phone and he is very careful not to let me see what he's looking at. I fear it could be pornography. Yeah. Has Rory any advice?
So you can only imagine. You can only imagine. I see this an awful lot in the clinic, and I have done particularly over the past 10 years. Online porn destroys lives. That's it. Pure and simple. It gets into the brain. It infiltrates, it takes over. It is an addiction on the same level as any other addiction. And I wanted to talk...
Hang on, Father Hafford.
Oh my God, go on.
I'm not suggesting teenagers should be exposed to this, but there are people who are able to watch it, switch it off, and have a normal sex life afterwards. Yeah. Just like there are people who can have a drink and not become alcoholics.
Yeah. And there are those who can't. And what you're dealing with is you're dealing with the immature brain that cannot process, not mature enough to process an adult occult theme. Very, very, you grow into this stuff. But we now live in a world of instant gratification. It's there. Everything's there. And also the magic is taken from it because we now have to dissect everything. You know what I mean? Mm. So if you dissect something, you actually take away that magic. But that's an argument for a different day. For this, in my personal and, more importantly, professional opinion, I think this is not just too much for the immature mind. It's way too much for the immature mind. Now, I have a couple of suggestions coming up to the end of this, but what I wanted to do was I was listening to a couple of other psychotherapists over the past 2 months or so, dealing with the same question. And both of them came up, their intros were, do you know what? The kids must realise that this is not real. These are just actors. That's nonsense. If you have a 14, 15-year-old teenage boy who is swimming in testosterone and assorted hormones, he doesn't give a fiddler's if they're acting or it's real.
Fiddle's back.
Yeah. He just wants, I think yours was a violin, that's a posher fiddle. He just wants to do his thing. Okay? Now, so it's not an answer. It's not saying, it's not real. It's real for the kid. And your mind makes it real. So, yeah, to all intents and purposes, this is very real. This is two people having aberrant sex on a screen in front of him. Yeah. That's going to have an effect.
I suppose, the question is how soft or how hard is the pornography that he's consuming?
Okay. Well,
let me just try and be real on this. 1990s, long time ago, boys like me tried desperately to watch as much Baywatch as possible because that's all there was, to maybe get a glimpse of Pamela Anderson's you-know-what. And dare I say, the Oxendales catalogue would come in and there would be a brass section. And that was about, until 1995 when Playboy hit the shelf, that was as titillating as you could get.
Absolutely.
All right?
Yeah.
Now I accept, click of a phone, you can access everything from the soft to the vile. Yeah. But boys will be boys.
Yeah. But you and I were boys, and we had all those little magazines, and we used to have the National Geographic. Remember the tribes that they unearthed in the outer Amazon, that kind of stuff. Yeah, so there was a desperate reach
Sorry?
I'll stop it. And a reach and a search for stuff that would stimulate our brain on this subject. Before I came in this morning, I typed in one word into a search engine. Porn. Okay. You wouldn't believe what came back.
How many million results?
Oh my God, a gazillion. Yeah. But that wasn't the thing, Will. It was the nature of the stuff that came back. The nature of it. You used the word vile. We need a new word. Now, this is stuff that our children are being exposed to. Our babies, our children are being exposed to this. And the one thing, two things actually. One, it's straight off, it's objectifying women to an inordinate degree. And it's also, it's brutalising women. Brutalising them. And that was just from this morning's search. Now, in what universe could that be a positive thing? In what way could that be a positive message to send to somebody who is trying to find how they are going to be in the world? Okay?
There could be a slippery slope as well. I remember watching an interview with a wrestler from the 1980s, Jake the Snake Roberts. The snake is not a euphemism.
Okay.
And because they were on the road a lot, they tended to cheat. They would be on the road maybe 28 days of a 31-day month.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, first of all, you had an affair with one woman. Then you had an affair with two women. Then you had an affair with two women at the same time. Then toys brought... And so constantly it became more eventually sordid, depraved, because it was an addiction that you had to go further and further.
Absolutely.
To get your fix for. And perhaps there is a similar risk here where you start watching... the Oxendales brass section, absolutely. And you end up watching horses and stuff.
Yeah. You're spot on. And it is an addiction as deadly and as cumulative as any other addiction. So there hasn't been...
Here's the problem.
Yeah.
And I have to take the break.
No. Well, we have to come back to this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's what to do about it.
Yeah.
That's next.
The Midlands most listened to radio show, Midlands Today. Midlands 103.
Rory Hafford is here for headaches and heartaches. And boy, this is a headache. Potentially a heartache too, depending on how it ends up. The parent who is concerned that their teenage son is consuming pornography on his phone, and we've thrashed out the rights and the wrongs of it. The question now is what to do.
Yeah, and They should be concerned about it. Absolutely, they should be. There hasn't been that many studies done on pornography from an addiction point of view, but they have over the past couple of years come up with one or two. Okay, and what they have found is that exposure starts at the age of, get this, 10.
No.
10.
I have a 10-year-old.
10.
Can't bear to think she would see this.
Yeah, 10. Now, at that age, the age between 10 up to your late teens, the brain has no brakes in it. It just wants to consume everything because it's trying to find out what it likes, so what it will repeat. So from the age of 10, they're exposed to this. Now, and again, the studies have shown that we've all heard of the reward center in the brain and the pleasure center in the brain itself.
Dopamine.
Yeah, well, and there's those other little bits and bobs in there as well. But for somebody who is becoming addicted to pornography, the pleasure center goes absolutely mad at the exposure of it. And the real issue is the one that you yourself pointed out. After a time, you're going to need more and heavier and darker stuff to hit the same effect. It has a profound effect. Other findings from the study as well said that, and they interviewed boys mostly on this, and they, by and large, said that real sex is not as good as what pornography can give them, and that porn was better than sex. And ironically, one of the side effects of long-term exposure to this is erectile dysfunction. And again, won't go into that because we'd be here all day unpacking it.
And there can be medical reasons, psychological reasons, but yes, I take your point. It's one of the hazards.
Yes, and again, it could be traced down to a measure of control, because when you are in front of your screen, you are in full control. Okay? But when you're with another human being, you don't. So that could be an issue. What do we do? What to do? Well, I'd say first off, parents need to get tech savvy real quick, because the kids are way, way ahead of us. And I was fortunate enough to be interviewed on David Hollywood's show last week about the online danger. So it was a broader conversation, but I used this example of driving from 4 to Oldcastle early one morning, and there were little groups of kids knotted together, all on their phone, all of them. That wasn't the thing that struck me. What struck me was there wasn't one happy face among them all. Now, if you take away the phone and get a group of kids to walk down the street together, they'll be laughing, they'll be joking, they'll be pointing, they'll be shouting. At least there will be connectivity. There'll be something there. But the fact that there wasn't even one happy expression really struck me on this. It is as though our kids have been asked to become serious before they are able to manage what serious actually is. If you asked me for my opinion based on what I've been exposed to in the clinics and the research and what I see myself, I would say ban it completely. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. That's my opinion. Now, there are people probably texting in now with different opinions, and that's okay. I respect their opinion, but that is my opinion based on what I see every day.
There's somebody who says it's all right to do it, but not to watch it. I'm not sure, are they suggesting that's hypocritical because people, we're all here because somebody had sex?
I don't even know what that means. What's it mean? Anyway, thanks for texting in.
All right.
Yeah.
Rory, we're actually completely out of time.
For God's sake, man. What about Paula?
I know Paula is in a funk, God love her. But unfortunately, we can't help until you're back. And a really heartbreaking one that I want to deal with as well next time. A lady, 40 years married, nothing, no present,
gift,
no acknowledgement. It was just another day. Yeah. And genuinely, she's heartbroken by it. Rory, we'll talk again.
Thanks, Will.
You'll find him at the Lusnagrena Family Resource Centre in Longford. Indeed, he has many, many books as well. And he's rambling the hills around 4 in County Westmeath.
Yelling at people.
Yes. Thanks, Sinead, for putting it all together. Back in your radio tomorrow morning from 9. Take care. Bye-bye.
Midlands 103.
Midlands Today with Bus Éireann. Use your TFI Young Adult or Student Leap Card on board Bus Éireann services as part of the Transport for Ireland network. Visit buséireann.ie today.